I wanted to graphically represent some of the ideas that I will be working with. You see that the star is the self, the real I, point of light or higher self, real self. The one that we experience only I am, not when I reflect on it. Not the reflection, but the direct experience of I am, which is subconscious at this point, unconscious. We forgot. And we see the top part is the small I. This is the ego self, small I. The one is capital I, this one little one. It is conscious, very limited conscious awareness of, mostly aware of being disconnected from the divine, or being alone, lonely, kind of. Feels separate when we are hurting in the night, things don't go well, and the ego feels all alone in the dark, isolated, no God, no nothing. There is no nothing, just isolation, separation from the divine or being who love. And also strange ideas about ourselves, what they told us we are so something, we are less something. And so we have an image, story. The ego has a story about us, historical. Grew up in Italy, you were very independent. You go to your grandmother, she say how good you are that you are independent. You're so Emilio, you're so good, you can do everything by yourself. And so then you start to build an identity around this independent, being capable to do your things, and so forth, or mirroring different aspects. And we start to identify with that feedback, and we build a personality, ego, idea of ourselves. And when somebody say, you're not reliable, it's like, what do you mean? My grandmother told me, I'm reliable. So we identify, and then we defend this identity. And is limited, is historical behavior, reflection, partial mirroring, incomplete mirroring, or totally wrong mirroring, because they wanted to see what they wanted, not what we were. So the idea of what we are is a little bit, first of all, is kind of a reflection, so it's not the direct experience, is wrong sometimes, missing parts, wrong bits, are not updated, old from childhood. It's quite a wreck, if you think of a car. It's a quite old and beaten vehicle. While we are talking about this self, the real self, like being this little nuclear fusion in our belly, or in our heart sometime, or everywhere it can go. So we have this aliveness, this energy in the moment, coming up so in different ways. And I was saying it's dangerous. People may scream. What will they think of me? So there is a guardian. There is an agent. I brought it there in the board. There is a superego, they call it, or inner critic. Freud came up with this term, is part of the psyche, of the personality structure, that is moderating the instinctual drives and making us civilized. First of all, was our parents' job, obviously. We were little fireballs, and then we need to be tamed, civilized, and then we need to give information on top of that first instinctual civilization, not screaming. Then there is family rules, social rules, because the family is in the society has a certain way of being, and so we need to comply, otherwise we will be casted out. We are relational beings, we are not snakes that live in the tree and eat some bugs or whatever. that can crawl away by ourselves after being born. We need mom for so many years. We need family, society. This system to keep us civilized is necessary for our survival and fitting in family and society. If we don't develop a healthy superego, we are not going to be, we are sociopaths. We can't function. So maybe it sounds like it is to some extent an enemy psychologically, but it's also has been necessity for us to be in society, in our family, to learn and be loved and be accepted and go to school and all of that. Few difficulties with that is that our parents sometimes lost their patience, not so present, not so grounded. Too many things happening at the same time. Water is boiling, the phone is ringing, the child is swinging from the chandelier, and the dog is running, it's too much, losing, and stop, and or, and so forth. All those different moments where mom, dad lost control, they stopped the fire with a quite forceful, maybe shameful, maybe with anger, with judgment. If you do that, you are a bad boy. If you cry, you're a sissy. So many different things, or being ignored, for example, so many different ways that we have been rendered civilized. Oh, no blame, we're not blaming. We are also in the same boat as parents, obviously. It's a difficult thing to a star incarnating, into a system, into a child is a quite powerful experiment and difficult to manage. So we're not here to judge anybody, especially mothers. Nevertheless, we have voice in us that is saying, well, you could do better, you're not doing well enough, this is not acceptable. So it builds this part of the psyche that has the capacity to internalize the parental guidance, voices. It has the capacity to upgrade, update constantly. So we go to school and a new piece of behavioral rules get updated into the system. So it constantly grows to accommodate the rules and the needs for us in order to be accepted. Well, very useful, but the difficulty is that the coding, the way it's been written, became mixed up with sometimes anger, sometimes shaming, all those things I was mentioning before. So it has a negative effect. You're not saying, look, I love your fire, but in this environment, let's wait a little bit. It's beautiful, but these people not doing something else. It's saying, well, if you do it, they will not like you. It's not so intelligent after all, in regard of us discovering more or reintegrating more of a lost star. Keeps us disconnected. So, very useful. We need to be become social, learn how to be. At the same time, now it's becoming a system, closed system, very powerful, that is constantly saying, wait a second, too much, you're going to sweat, you're too hot. Don't do that. It's just keeping the fire at bay. We're not saying, well, now you need it. Now is the right time. No, just the fire is dangerous. One of the issues with this software, this program, is that it's copied on mom, and mom was much bigger than me, and she had, so when we are born, the instinctual center is fully developed. we are full of energy, running, movement, body's functioning. Heart, emotional intelligence and cognitive intelligence is not developed yet. We don't know how to think. We yet not developed that capacity. We don't have emotional intelligence. We don't have empathy, capacity of, it's not developed. These two brains have not developed. They could develop later. But in the body, everything is working. Fingers are growing, everything, heartbeat, everything is automatic. Mom, fully developed, smart. Emilio is going around. She knows I'm stubborn. She knows that I want to do my things. She knows how I function, and she tell me not to do what I should be doing. So I think I'm free. I'm doing exactly what she wants. Smallest example. So she knows me so much more than myself. She knows that I will be tired at a certain point. She has so many information in her mind that she can use to control me. And that is what the superego is copying. So it's copying a system smarter than me. So it outsmarts me. Then I become responsible. I carry a system which has been designed on top of me from someone more developed. It's very challenging to be free from this voice. A lot of the programming is not verbal. So my mom didn't need to tell me, don't do that. She just looks away. She knows I want some sweetness, maybe. I want some cuddles. So she manipulates that. She says, okay, if you continue that, she cuts energy from me so that I feel disconnection. So of course I will obey. So a lot of the programming of the superego is subconscious. We don't realize. We don't think about it. It just happens. We are saying that confidence comes as a side effect. First of all, we are present in ourselves and connected to our body. If that is not possible, because a superego is guarding it, then it would be difficult to feel that self-confidence, because we are not allowed to be in our instinctual energy, because it's troublesome. So confidence will go out the window with being disconnected from the belly center, from the instinctual, from the energy. At this point, the superego is big, especially around. So we are looking now at the particular frequency, which is will, personal will, which is the capacity to do what I want. I want to become a musician and I will pursue that path. So I want to do this. Mom say, no, but that's not good, because nobody in our family was musician. You don't have a musical ear. But I still want to do it, but she's like bigger than me. So that I wanted, and no. And so slowly, the will that is supposed to give me the capacity to do whatever I want doesn't mean that I will be successful, everything, because, I tried karate, so many things, I got bored. My mom was right. But who says that I don't have to try so many things to find what I like? Yeah. So it's true that certain things I was so excited. I want, then I gave them up. But that's not a problem. This superego or old school family says, no, will you decide something, you need to be all your life mission. Man, who says that? So there is a strange relationship, especially when we are children. What we want to do, we really want it, it's beautiful, but sometimes it's not supported. And sometimes rightly so. Nevertheless, the disconnection from what we want to do, from embracing what we want to do, it translates into not having the energy to engage and feel confident about something that we want to do. So the confidence that we need when we do things in life comes from being connected. Like the example, the kid goes to Istanbul selling water bottles with nothing. He only has his belly. He only has his fire to support. The other day, I was walking out of the supermarket. There was a woman with 3 or 4 children, refugee, Syrian refugee, with a big trolley full of collecting cardboard bottles, recycling to make some money. Children inside, giving the breastfeeding one child bottle to, and she was like lion. I looked into her eyes. She was so alive and dignity, strength, courage. It was amazing. She only had her fire, and she was so beautiful. I just went back and I gave money, and she looked at me in the eyes with dignity, like amazing. Then Westerners, some problem or big deal. Whatever. Some problem in the house and pipe is broken or something. So that confidence comes from the spirit. And in order to access it, we need to be present, first of all, because it's not there later. It's not in 5 years when I will do this and that. It's now that I need it now. And I also need to access it. So I need to be present and connect with it, connect with instincts. So when the energy comes up, I want to do something, I would like to change job, I would like to whatever that is, then the superego may come and start saying, wait a second, what's going to happen to your old job? You already have a salary, you already have security, whatever. And so maybe that's not such a great idea. And so the superego is interfering with the impulse or the manifestation, the energy that wants to express and create some sort of conflict, inner conflict. We get stuck in these kind of loops about this. So this is just a short intro to the superego. The superego we will talk about again in many ways.